disabilities affect the brain? I think it depends on the type of disability. It can affect the brain in lots of different ways, and so sometimes it can make it harder for kids to move, and sometimes it can make it harder for kids to remember things or to speak, and it all depends on the type of injury that there's been to the brain. It varies from kid to kid.
Is there a difference between a boy's brain and a girl's brain?
There is differences between girls' brains and boys' brains. I don't know all the differences, but I know that there's a few. Sometimes there's a structure that's a bridge between the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, and that's a little bit differently developed between boys and girls. And I think that the theory is that it's because from an evolution perspective, men used to do a lot more of the hunting, women did a lot more of the gathering, and so they needed different parts of their brain to do those tasks better. So different parts of the brain developed differently.
Why is the brain located in your head?
Why is the brain located in your head? I think it's because I would definitely think that if it was in your foot or in your hand, you might injure it more often. What do you think? I think you would injure it more often. So I think maybe it's in your head so that you can protect it better. That's my guess, but I don't.
So, what do you do in your daily job as a scientist?
So I think about problems and I talk to people to find out what problems they want solved, and then we come up with solutions. I work with lots of students and with lots of different researchers and people from different backgrounds. So sometimes I'm working with therapists, and sometimes I'm working with doctors, and sometimes I'm working with other engineers, and sometimes I'm working with kids and their parents, and we all try to think of ways that we can solve whatever the challenge is.
That's really cool. So, why did you choose to study the brain?
Why did I choose to study the brain? I guess because the brain is kind of a magical thing, and so I work in pediatric rehabilitation, and so a lot of the disabilities stem from injuries to the brain, and so we have to think about ways that we can retrain the brain so that kids can move around and can do the things that they want to do.
That sounds like an interesting job. So, what do you like most about this exhibit?
What do I like most about this exhibit? I like how it looks at the brain from all sorts of different points of view. So it looks at the emotional brain, it looks at the changing brain, it looks at, your brain in different situations, if you're scared or if you're anxious, and I like that it has all those different perspectives on the brain.
Okay, thank you. What inspired you to create an exhibition on the human brain?
On the human brain, so I didn't create this exhibition on the human brain, but I'm just a part of it. And so our work is basically, we want to make sure that kids can, with disabilities, can do everything that all kids like to do and have lots of fun doing it. And so we design technologies that make it easier for kids to do those sorts of things. And so in developing those technologies, it's really important for us to understand how the brain works and how you learn how to do new things and how to move differently, and how you learn new skills like playing the piano or doing ballet. So that's all really important, and it's the lessons that we learn about the brain help us to design better technologies for rehabilitation.
That's really cool. So, when did you have at what age did you have first thoughts of being a scientist?
I don't know. I think I was old. I kind of just fell into it, really. I think I learned of Holland Blue Review Kids Rehabilitation Hospital, where I'm working right now, when I was in my last year of university. And then I just said to myself, wow, that is really cool. That's exactly what I want to do with my engineering degree. And from there, I just kept doing degrees until I could work there as a scientist. So I guess I was about 23 when I figured it out.
I'm actually really interested in chemistry, but I haven't tried it yet. Do you mind to give me a little sneak peek?
A sneak peek into chemistry. Actually, you know what? Chemistry was my least favorite subject. I didn't do a lot of chemistry either. I did it in high school, but then not so much in engineering because I was a mechanical engineer. And so we didn't do too much in the way of chemistry there. But in terms of a sneak peek, it's a lot of balancing of things. That's what I remember about it.
So, what kind of experiments do you do to collect the data you have in this exhibition?
So we design video games and other technologies, and then we have kids come in and play with them. And so we have lots of different stages of data that we collect. At first, we just find out whether or not kids can use it and whether the technologies work. And so then and then after we figure out if the technologies work, then we can send them home with the kids and look at their brains before they play with the video games and then after they play with the video games and see if there's changes in how the brain is lighting up. And then we also want to know if those changes and how changes in the way that the brain is lighting up means that they can move better or they can do more things in their everyday lives. And so we ask therapists to look at how the kids are moving and to tell us about any changes, and then we also ask kids to tell us about any changes that they notice before or after they play with the different technologies.
That's really, really cool. So, the last question. Do you know how to improve my mom's memory?
Yes, through practice. Lots and lots of practice. So the brain is really cool because they used to think that only young brains could learn or could change, but that's not true. All of our brains can change. And the way that a brain changes is through practicing. But the key is that the person has to want to change, want to improve. So you have to make sure that your mom wants her brain to have a better memory.
Thanks. That'll really help a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And one last question: does playing piano develop your brain better? Like help develop your brain?
They do absolutely say that playing piano does help to develop the brain. There's differences in musicians' brains compared to non-musicians' brains. So I definitely think it's a good thing to play piano.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
No problem.
So what's your favorite part of this exhibition?
So far, from coming through, my favorite parts have been all the games to play. I found them to be a lot of fun. And this one, the stacking cubes, was really tricky.
Yeah, I think they're really fun too. Do you find this exhibit inspiring and why?
I think it is inspiring. I really love learning about the brain. I'm still in school to learn about it, so I think it's really cool that we get to share different parts of how the brain works with everyone who comes here.
Okay, I think this exhibit is really cool too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
What do you do and what do you think you will do in the future?
Well, right now I'm a PhD student at the University of Toronto, and I work most days at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital, so I get to play with lots of kids. We play lots of games. And I think in the future, I will keep working with kids to find ways to help them play better and move better.
Thank you. What do you think the organizers could improve on in this exhibit to make it better?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. So far, I've really liked everything. I think if they were to improve just more games, that was my favorite part. I like to learn about things and then do something to help me remember what I'm learning.
Thank you. What have you learned about the brain so far?
I've learned a lot of things about the brain, and I thought I knew a lot, so I'm just learning every step of the way here. I think the cookie experiment of whether you should go hunt down a cookie from your mom or not taught me a lot about how our hormones regulate what we do and change how our body feels when we make a choice about something.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. How do you enjoy your experience here at the Ontario Science Centre?
I'm enjoying it a lot. I haven't been here since I was a kid, and I'm learning a lot today, so I'm having fun.
What kind of things are you learning?
I'm learning about the brain and the different ways that it works and how it evolved, and learned a little bit about how memory works. It's been very interesting.
Which is your favorite part in everything you've seen so far?
I enjoyed that languages activity because I found it very challenging and I really couldn't do it, and it highlighted just how different some of the languages are on this earth.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.